No doubt. You know what I mean? What it is, it's Neek the Exotic, man. And you know what I'm doing, man? I'm cooling with Breaking Records Radio, man. We ain't faking no funk, man, for sure.
Breaking Records Radio and the place to be. You know what it is. It's your host, Maloney. And I got a special guest with me right now, man. You might recognize him from, the legendary Fake and the Funk. You might recognize him from, this man's been tearing it up. And do you know what? This man, not only has he been tearing it up and is he on classic records with MC Shan. This guy's catalog goes so far back, but on top of that, this is one of the first dudes who I can really think of who really started playing the independent game real heavy, early on, like before the internet, all that stuff, but either way, no further introduction. Give it up for my man, Neek the Exotic. How's it going, man?
My brother, peace, man. Thank you for having me, man. I appreciate you, man. Thank you for that, man. Definitely.
Yeah, I appreciate you taking your time to, chat with us, man. I'm a huge fan of the whole Main Source legacy. The P Now reunion's a crazy joint. We're going to talk about that.
No doubt.
We're going to get into a little bit of everything. But currently you got the new album out, Extra Exotic, you and Large Professor. And it's not your first time doing a project with Large Professor. It's actually quite a common trend with you guys.
Yeah, we've been working together so long. The first actually album that we done together was Still on the Hustle. That was back in like 2011.
And what was the Backs and Necks record you did? That was like a little EP thing, right?
Yeah, we actually that was on an album that I did. It was like a 20th anniversary album that I did with Large. It was called Backs and Necks, and that was the first song on there. We did a remix for it later on, but the original one, was what we did back in the days.
Yeah. Okay. Because I see the 20th anniversary one, and I wasn't 100% sure if that was like something that came out back in the day that you guys re-put out like as an EP, or if it was just kind of, I wasn't sure exactly how that.
It was something that was put out a long time ago. It was nothing but the classic record song.
Okay, dope. Yeah, that shit's hard, man. I love that because it had that classic vibe to it too.
Yeah. That was one of my dope joints I like. I did Back to Next crazy. Yeah.
And was that one of the 12 inches? Because back in the day, you were putting out a lot of 12 inches.
Yeah, that was on a 12-inch. I was doing something like you said with the independent game, and I was doing it a long time, man, with Big Daddy Music Distribution out of Maplewood, New Jersey. That's when I released Backs and Necks. I released Exotics Raw. I released all of those singles, back then, independently, like I said.
Yeah. And I want to get into all of that stuff, especially the independence thing, because I think that's super important. And I think I don't think you necessarily get the credit you deserve for being kind of a pioneer in that field. Like a lot of people weren't, like you've been independent pretty well since, since the rip, so it's like, I just find it very interesting, and I don't think you necessarily get the props you deserve for, kind of spearheading that movement as long as you have, dudes like Core Mega, he's been independent for years, but if you guys aren't around the same time, you might even predate him doing the independent thing a little bit,
Yeah, because with me, I never had the opportunity to have a record deal back in the days when everybody was getting record deals. So it was like, damn, how am I going to get my music out there if I don't have a record deal? So I said, shit, I'm going to do it myself. You know what I'm saying? And build up, from the ground up, man. So I started putting everything out independent, man, myself, man. You know what I mean? No videos, no radio play, no nothing. Just for dropping vinyls. You know what I'm saying? And just putting them out. You know what I'm saying? And just kept on with it. After a while, it was like the hell with a record deal. I'm just going to continue to do this shit myself, no matter if one does well, if one doesn't do well. I don't care about none of that. You know what I'm saying? I just love the culture. I'm in it for the culture. I've been doing this since I was a kid, just writing and, entering spelling bees and shit when I was younger and in high school and junior high school and before that, and just always been into poetry. And so it was something that was just natural to me, to start putting, words together, and sentences together and things like that, because I was always good at that type of stuff. So it's just a natural thing.
Well, and see, and I like that too. But 2 points off what you said, actually. One is you kind of predate the, predate the fake and the funk, which is kind of where I wanted to start. So I do want to go there. But another thing that you said is one thing I appreciate about your music is that, you know, one thing you said, and you've said it in many interviews over the years, but it's for the culture. You know what I mean? And you've never really compromised that. Like a lot of artists, some way, somewhere along the way, whether one way or another, you could say, you know, even a lot of acts that we heavily respect, you could say there's a point in their career where they may have compromised their integrity, even if it was just for a record or just one album or something, you know, and it might not have worked, but there's nowhere in your catalog where you actually really ever compromise your integrity that
because I feel I never had to. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I feel I never had to. And for the simple fact is, like, so many people follow each other. So many people try to follow trends and follow waves. So if you following a fucking wave, then you ain't about this shit anyway. You know what I'm saying? Because if it's from your heart and your soul, then it's going to be expressed that way through your music. You're not going to be trying to chase nothing. You're going to be wanting to be the one being chased. You know what I'm saying? Being listened to, you know what I'm trying to say? So I always kept that. Now, you know, as the years go on and time goes on, yeah, you go with the times, but that doesn't mean you know, forget about your element. You know what I mean? You know, you just sharpen your tools. You know what I'm saying? Keep your ear to the street, keep your words sharp, keep your thoughts sharp, keep your concept sharp. You know, you don't change, you know, in a way where, oh, okay, I gotta sound like this guy. I gotta have a beat like this now because of this guy. No. You gotta come from the heart, man. You know what I mean? You gotta come from within. And you just stick to your, if you're consistent with what you're doing, you're going to only get better. You know, so if I start off with one, I don't really like the word fans. You know, I like it. You know, lovers of my music. You know what I mean? Because if you support what I do, then you love what I do. So I say lovers of my music. So the lovers of my music, I make it for them. You know, you start off with one fan, or how they call it fans. I call them lovers of music. You start off with one, but you keep consistent in what you're doing, and it'll grow. Might take time. So what? Everything take nothing was built overnight. So you take time and you continue to build. You continue to believe in yourself. Stay sharp. Continue perfecting your craft, and you go ahead, man. And that's it. You know what I mean? That's it.
Yeah. 100%, man. And even like the new album itself, like that's one thing I love about it. It's so refreshing because it's like you said, the tool is sharpened. Like you can tell that it's a new album, but it's got the elements there. Like, you know what I mean? Like the production on it. And I know that Large Pro didn't do all the production, but all the production is cohesive. So everyone you guys got in there, whether it be Bumpy Knuckles, Alchemist, whoever, everyone was in that same bag. Like there's a handful of samples on the project that I recognize. I might not be able to pinpoint off my head, but you know, like I recognize whether it be from something, you know, from the 90s, just an old soul record I like or whatever, but I like how that element is there. It's like, you know, because in the 90s, you know, when like, you know, all the producers, like when Large Pro was doing, you know, when everyone was using the machines and the early 90s, you know, the same drum break could be sampled 100 times by 100 different people, but it's all how you freaked with, how you filtered it, how you sampled it, how you arranged it. You know what I mean? Like you could use honey.
What part you chopped up and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And I really liked how on this album, there was no fear. There's no shying away from, you know, using classic samples and stuff, but freaking them your own way. But there's also refreshing samples on there too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was dope, man. When we were putting the project together, man, the music, I was saying to myself, I was listening to all my stuff because that's what I do. I go back and I listen from the first album to now, and I just listen to a couple songs on each project. You know, it's like a form of inspiration too. So, and you know, when I was listening, man, I was like, yo, the beats that Large Professor is putting on this joint right now, it's nothing like my solo projects where it's just me. And it was a challenge for me because I loved it, because it was pure hip hop. It was different rhythms. It was different. It was horns. It brought the horns back out. And it was just like, wow, man. You know what I mean? So it was fun putting it together. It was fun doing it. The music was, I was like, wow, this is like elevated. Everything was elevated, man. You know what I mean? And this is even before we hooked up with Alchemist, and Bumpy. This is when we were just me and Lars, just, sit down, listening to the music, putting the concepts together, things like that. So I'm very happy with this album, man. To me, it's my best project to date overall.
Yeah, I love it, man. And I like how you guys, it's a full album, but you guys, it's almost like almost reminiscent a little bit of Illmatic in the sense where it's like it's a full-length album, but it's not overkill. You know what I mean? You guys got, because I think you got, what, 9 joints on there?
10.
10, yeah. So it's like that
10,
same kind of formula,
right.
You know what I mean?
And what's funny about that? It's like, I remember back in the days, man, a lot of albums, man, not a lot, but certain artists, and what I'm talking about, they used to have albums and they have 24 songs on the shit. You know what I'm saying? You're like, damn, like, how many songs what you know what I mean? And then when you listen to the shit, you're like, damn, why you even put all this shit on there anyway? And the shit wasn't even, you know what I mean? But that's what they were doing. And I felt like, you got 24 songs and the shits is 3 minutes. One song is 4 minutes. One song, that's a lot to listen to. You know what I'm trying to say? So I said, you know what, man? I'm not going to, do what everybody else do. I'm just going to do what I feel. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to do 6 songs and call it an album or nothing like that. But I'm going to do what I feel. So I felt 10 songs was enough because it made you want to listen to it again and bring it back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because every time I listened to it, before I put it out, every day I was listening to it, every day. And just for one reason, to see if I got bored with it. Because a lot of times when you listen to songs over and over and over, after a while, you're like, man, this shit is bullshit, or this shit, man, I can't, this shit, it's just all right. But every time I listened to it, that feeling was always there. So that's when I knew that we had it right. That's when I knew we had it right. Because, and another big element was we sat down and we did it together.
Yeah.
We didn't email everything to each other. Oh, I'm going to email you these lyrics and I'm going to email you these. No, we sat down, we wrote together, we picked the music together. The concepts I came up with, I brought them to Lars, like, listen, this is the concept I want. Everything went smooth. So everything wasn't nothing forced. It was all natural. You know what I mean? And it reminded me of back in the days when me and Lars used to sit in his crib when we was kids, and we sitting there smoking and shit. He doing the beats, and we up 4, 5 in the morning and shit. You know what I'm saying? It reminded me of them days. It was just a natural, great feeling, just making great music. So it was real dope. But then once we got Pharaoh involved, and he came through, and he picked a few beats, and then after he picked the beats, he left, and then he called later on and said, okay, I chose this one, and it was on after that. I was like, oh man. And when he laid it, I said, oh shit, this is energy. This is like, the energy was like, it was, everybody knows Pharaoh Monch is one of the dopest
one
MC,
of the greatest of all time.
Period. So I ain't even got to get into all of that shit.
Yeah.
Everybody know that. If you don't, like Jadakiss told the Dipset, you bumped your head. So, nobody told you you bumped your head. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I mean? That's the only way I can put it. You know what I'm saying? That's the only way I can put it, man. So it's like, it was real easy. The energy was so crazy, and I said I needed that because I'm known for energy songs and and all that. But when you have somebody else on there that has that energy also, it brings it out. And he's also someone that I always wanted to work with. So to actually be able to have that opportunity, now I'm like, okay, now this is what you asked for. You got it. Now step up to bat and do what you got to do. So that was a challenge. It was a challenge for me. You know what I mean? Because when you're on the track with a dope lyricist, it's going to show where you at. You know what I mean? So it was a natural element because once I heard his energy, it was easy for me because I said, okay, boom, I see how he comes. That's all I needed to hear. That's all I needed to hear. And I said, I'm gonna match that energy. You know what I mean? So that was a real dope situation right there. Because Large came in and Large, he wasn't writing for a while. He was doing production and and he was doing other things, but he wasn't, like me, like every day writing, trying to now. So once we got this project started, I kind of started his flow up again and got him like, you know, once he started hearing what we were doing and how things were coming together, it got him motivated. You know, it got him motivated. Then he started adding more things to this, and he started, I got this, I added this to this, and this, and he was like, I was like, yes, this is what I'm talking about right here. This is gonna be really dope. And then we had Boogie Blind on the cuts, DJ Boogie Blind, and we had DJ Precision, and DJ Precision came through, and you know he did the cuts on Borough of Queens, and he did the cuts on Worldwide Street Legends, and it was so natural, man. He came through, man, and he did that shit in like 5 seconds, man. He had his groove. As soon as he heard the music, he was like, oh shit. And that was my first time seeing him DJ, and right there in front of my face, in my living room. You know what I'm saying? In my house. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh shit. You know what I'm saying? And he put that shit together, man. I said, oh, this is it. This is it. So, you know, it was dope, man. And the music is incredible. It speaks for itself, man. Word.
100%, man. And one thing you said too, like, well, there's a couple things you said there, but the one thing, like, you know, I think it comes out in the music that you guys made it together. Cause like, when you say that, when I listen to the album, I got that vibe. You know what I mean? I mean, I have no proof of, you know, I wasn't there, but I got the vibe you guys were there together. And another thing is, I love that you got Professor kind of out of his shell and rapping again, because I think one of the biggest disservices to hip hop that Large Professor ever did was not rap as much as he could have. Because Large is dope, man. Not only is he a monster on the beats, but
he's dope. You know, what you said makes a lot of sense, because I always knew P was dope. But me personally, when I first realized how dope he was, is when I heard Friendly Game of Baseball. And the concept, the way he put it together, the wordplay, the realness, it's everlasting. You know what I'm trying to say? Everything that we said in that song is something that we all went through and all grew up in, and we're still growing up in and still going through to this day. That's why they say real music is timeless, and that's a fact. You know what I'm trying to say? So that's when I knew, yeah, he's not just a good MC, he's a great MC, because that shit was great. It reminded me kind of like how when Nas did Rewind.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? How he started the story off from the end to and then to the beginning. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That was like, you know, and just like he did the gun song when he did the gun. Nas,
I gave you power.
I gave you power. You see what I'm saying? It reminds everybody can't do shit like that and captivate you and capture you and capture the. It's like you're going through the whole story with him. You know what I'm trying to say? Yeah. So that's when I knew that was really dope. So to have Large come full-fledged on the project, man, and from his heart and wanting to put out a dope project with us, you know, was really dope, man. Word. That meant a lot. I mean, everything. Word.
Yeah, man. And you know, and I think, and it's like you said, like Game of Baseball, I'm looking at the front door, like, like these songs, like you can listen to them today, and yeah, they might sound like maybe they were made in 1990 or something production-wise stuff, but even the production, I think his production then was ahead of its time. But the lyrically, the songs stand up today. Like you can relate to this music still. And I think, you know, and I love Large as a producer, and you know, I would never take that away from hip hop, but I always wish that he would have done a little more rapping. You know, I know he's put out the albums over the years, Large Pro albums, and they have been there. But, you know, I just always felt like he could have had a stronger presence as an MC in the culture, you know? So it was really nice and fresh.
I agree with you, but I think between me and you, look, I said between me and you, look, I think he's working on a solo LP right now.
Ah.
Yeah.
Dope. So you
got I don't know, you know, you know, who's going to be in it or you know, how he's doing it, but, you know, I believe he's working on something right now. You know, just a Large Professor album. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Dope. Man, I love, like, you know, all right, man. Anyways, you know, I could talk about Large Pro forever, but I want to go back more and talk about, you know, the project and some of your history. But you know, one thing that you also said was that, you know, when you guys were doing the music together, it took you back to like, you know, it reminds you of the days you'd be hanging out at Large's crib, working on Beast of 4 in the morning and stuff. I thought it was interesting you said that, because I actually, listening to the album, I know you guys are both from Queens, but it felt very Queens. You know what I mean? Like the Queens inspiration and feeling was really heavy there. So I thought it was cool that you mentioned that, you know, it kind of almost took you guys back to those days, because I felt, I don't know, just the album feels really Queens. You know what I mean? Which, I mean, at this point in your guys' lives, you know, I don't know if either of y'all still live in Queens, but I mean, it could be easy for me.
I'm still in Queens. I'm still in Queens.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're still there, and it's still you still breathe the air every day then. But it just it felt very Queens, and I thought that was very refreshing too. Like it didn't, you know, sometimes that kind of thing can seem forced when you're removed from, you know what I mean, your element so many years later, and you're trying to touch back roots, but like it seemed very authentic, very organic, very Queens based. And so I just thought it was kind of cool that you mentioned that part as well too, like that.
Yeah, that's why. And when Q-Tip, you know, shout out to Q-Tip, man, from Tribe Called Quest, man.
That track is crazy. That track's crazy.
Yeah, to get him on the joint, man, was special, because, you know, Q-Tip don't rhyme on everybody's shit. He ain't, you know, he be on the low. You know what I mean? He be working, don't get me wrong, but he be on the low. So that's family. And to have him be a part of the project and not just produce anything, but actually rap, that was really dope. And when I heard his verse, I was like, yes, this is Q-Tip all fucking day, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was crazy because, you know, you're getting 3 different perspectives from Queens cats.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say? So you get the perspective from Q-Tip, Large perspective, and you get my perspective. You know what I'm saying? How we see it. So it was a dope concept. It was very easy. It was fun. The beat was incredible.
That beat's crazy.
The chorus, what Precision did, was incredible. It was like, it's like hypnotizing this shit. You know what I mean? That motherfucking beat, man. So that was real special, man. So I'm definitely glad Q-Tip, you know, joined the album, man. And then Bumpy, man, you know, me and him done a lot of work. We've done a lot of songs together, and our chemistry is great. So, you know, when he sent the tracks, because I'm also on Bumpy Knuckles' new album that he has out right now too. You know what I mean? So I got a song on there called "I Don't Give a Fuck" with me and Large Professor. You know
okay.
Yeah, so you got to definitely check that out. And you know, when he sent the beats, man, it was like, wow. And I heard that track, I said, oh shit, this shit is bananas. You know what I mean? I said, this is incredible right here. So I thought about it, damn, who I want on this joint right here. The first thing came to my mind was my man Innocent, because he's so fucking dope. And he's like a chameleon. You know what I mean? And what I mean by that is, you know, he can adapt to whatever situation. You know what I'm trying to say, with the best of them. You know what I'm trying to say? So he was the number one that I wanted on that track, and it spoke for itself. Watch him, you know what I'm saying? And to me, that track was real. It was real because, you know, a lot of times if you listen to the lyrics on that, I said, try to tell them, they just wouldn't listen. Now they put me in position, pack my bags. Can't forget the mask, part of my life now, like niggas taking the bath. I'm from the part of things where niggas came up with fiends, and we served them with any possible means. Yeah, that's your homie. You grew up eating bologna. Use a motherfucking phony. You watched the nigga fall, gave him the 8-ball, trapped his crib out so he continues to fall. Shit, it ain't the streets, it's the niggas that send him. Poisonous venom, lot of loss in the end. When I said that, it was real, because coming up in the streets, no matter where you're from, you see certain elements, you see certain things. You know, motherfuckers might be down and out, but they got a crib. Everybody know they got a crib. So now the street niggas come in, want to be his best friend all of a sudden. Now they hanging out there every day. Now the crib turned into a party house. Now I go from a party house to niggas selling out the house, so now it's a trap house now. Now the motherfucking crib get busted. The nigga that owned the house go to jail, lose his house and everything. The street niggas is back on the streets trying to do it to somebody else. You know what I'm trying to say? So that shit is real shit that happens. You know what I'm saying? That's why I said it ain't the streets, it's the niggas that send them. You know what I'm saying? Poison is venom, a lot of loss in the end. Dice games and runners, fat bitches and hummers. Game and change headed into the summer. I smoke the best quality weed on the planet. If not, I'd be running the streets rampant. Shit, I'm tailor-made any way you play it. Mountain climber, watch your boy scale it. Yeah, yeah. I'm a native New Yorker. I came up with the British Walkers, cars as big as flying saucers. For the bosses, sit in the back, see count the gains and the losses. Close my eyelids, dream about Porsches. I hate straight bitches, make a nigga nauseous. Wow. To me, that shit was just real. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
But
like,
yeah, it's real, and it's very real, and it's vivid. You know what I mean? It's like almost reminiscent to a degree of like some Scarface stuff. You know what I mean? Where it's like it's not just talking about the streets, but it's almost like it shows you both sides of the streets. You know what I mean? It's like
yeah,
this is, you know, like not just the glorification of it, but you know,
right.
like this the other side do it as well too. You know?
Yeah, man. So, that's I just try to give them the real, man. Like, and I got to do more of that. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been through so much experiences in my life and I've seen so much. Of course, everything you see, you can't write about. You know what I'm trying to say? Just on a real motherfucking G and ethical standpoint. You know what I'm trying
Yeah.
to say? So, but it's things that you can. You know what I'm saying? And so I want to shed more light. And like you said, not glorifying it, but let motherfuckers know, like, listen, if you make this choice, this is some of the things that's gonna happen. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But say it in a way where they can still bop their head to it, but still get some jewels and get something out of it. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So that's one thing I learned about me, going forward, especially on this project. I see a lot of growth. You know what I'm saying? It's not just about how nice you are, how good you are. It's about, how much you've grown. You know what I mean? How much you care for the culture, how much you care for the people. You know what I'm trying to say? It's about, leaving a jewel. You know what I mean? Because that's what really brings the people to you. You're leaving them something that they can always remember and relate to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Fuck you, how good you are. Oh, I'm the best. And, man, fuck that shit. That shit is whack. We started like that because that's all we knew. You know what I mean? Coming into hip hop. You know what I mean? Coming
Yeah.
into the culture. That's what it was all about, showing off and all that kind of shit. But as you get older and as you see things and as you experience things, you want to drop a jewel. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to, per se preach to nobody, but I want to, reach somebody.
Well, and I think that's something I've noticed a lot in your music as well too over the years. It's like the old Neek, I feel, was kind of more aggressive, almost more bar heavy, and kind of like you said, like almost more showing off, like more show of skills. As to where I have noticed in like more the recent years and what the albums you've been putting out, it is almost more real. It's like leaving people with something to think about, some jewels, you know what I mean, or something vivid. And I think that's really important because at the end of the day, it's like, all the great MCs, everybody puts in the top 5. They have an element of, yeah, I can show off, I can bar with the best of them, but
Right.
it's because they leave you jewels in the songs that they go down as the greats. You know what I mean? Like Nas, I Gave You Power. Jay-Z with, like the classic records, like Dead President, shit like that. Like there's those jewels in there that like those are lessons that can get you through life. Scarface, you got jewels in the music. You know what I mean? Like KRS-One, they got jewels in the music.
And that's what it's about, because I've been around so much. I've seen so much, personally been around people, whether it's artists, whether it's people that's not artists, growing up in the streets, because I grew up on 103rd Street, Northern Boulevard in Corona. And when I grew up in the 70s there, man, it was rough. It was a rough place to live, Corona, Queens, man. It was a rough, shout to Juju, we know. You know what I'm saying? It's a rough place, and Psycho Les, my beat nut brothers. It's a rough place, man. You know what I'm saying? It was no joke. A lot of drugs on the street, a lot of shootings, a lot of shit that go on today, but it was going on when I was a child. You know what I'm trying to say? I mean, it was rough. It was sad at the same time, because you come outside and you see lines all the way around the corner, and you thinking, it's a store got a sale or something. Nah, this motherfucker's online buy crack. You know what I'm trying to say? You know what I mean? It was lines all the way around the corner, was You would think motherfuckers was waiting in line and getting Costco's. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? That's how. And this was crazy. It was crazy seeing that shit. I'm like, damn, how the fuck do they have crack lines? And they got motherfuckers waiting on line to buy this shit. This shit was crazy. So when you see shit like that as a youngin, and then my uncle, my Uncle Bill, my mom's brother, he got shot up like 16 times when I was a little kid, and I was with him on Northern Boulevard. He survived too. But certain things you go through and you see, you say, damn, man, like, you know what I mean? Like, I seen it a lot.
You were with him when he got shot?
Yeah.
That kid, damn, man.
Yeah. He got hit up 16 times and he survived, man. You know what I'm saying? Word.
And that was when you were living in Corona, all that.
That's when I was living in Corona, man. 103rd Street Boulevard. You know what I'm saying? Me, my moms, my uncle, my pops, and my dog had a Doberman. You know what I'm saying? And it was it was crazy, man. And then I had family on 98th Street, Northern Boulevard, and and then East Elmhurst, which is like about 3 or 4 blocks down. So I used to always be around. They used to call me Little Red because I used to have a big afro, a red afro. That red hair, so they used to call me Red. You know what I'm saying? So it was crazy growing up out there, man. So, to this day, I still go out there. I still got family out there. And that's where that music comes from. You know what I'm saying? Coogee Rap, he's from Corona. You know what I'm saying? So all of us know each other. You know what I mean? They're a little old. He's a little older, but we all know each other, run with each other. It's dope. Yo. Yo. I can't see you no more.
Yo, sorry about that. Somebody tried calling me and I went to decline it, but I accidentally pressed accept, I guess.
Oh, shit.
Sorry about that. I think we're still recording though. Let me just double check here. Yeah, we're still recording. Okay, so we're all good. Sorry about that. Oh, you can't. Hold up. Let me fix that. There we go. Can you see me now?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, man.
Yo, that's crazy though, man. Like, and I wanted to ask too, like, well, I did want to ask when you ended up moving to Flushing, but prior to that, obviously seeing your uncle get shot and stuff, that's very real, and you're seeing that in real time, and you can obviously comprehend what's going on. But like when you were seeing like crack lines around the buildings and stuff, like as a kid, like were you like, did you really understand what you were seeing, or did it take you to grow a little bit older to be like, oh shit, like that's what was going down, or like was it that like?
I understood what I was
seeing. I've never seen it like that in my life. You know what I mean? Yeah, so I'm just curious, I guess, kid, like.
I understood what I was seeing. I just didn't understand why they were doing it. You know what I mean? When I was young, it took me a little older to realize that. But I knew what they were doing was wrong, and it was illegal, and they were buying drugs. I definitely did that. It was just like, wow, like, first of all, you bugged out because you're like, where the police at? You know what I'm saying? These motherfuckers got crack lines and shit, and these niggas, you know what I mean? Like, it's like crazy as shit, you know what I'm saying? But that's how it was, man. Junkies up and down the Northern Boulevard, man, alcoholics, all that shit, man. So you get a chance to see a lot. You know what I'm saying? You get a chance to see a lot of real people, man, that got killed or that went to prison and that's still in prison. And so it's a lot to go through, man. And don't get me wrong, every hood got it. But when you experience things firsthand, you're able to talk about it. You have knowledge about certain things, and you look at life a different way. Life is short, so it makes you think. Man, oof. Because when I was young, I was hustling and selling drugs and all that shit. And I was in high school and shit like that. I ain't have to do that shit. I just was doing it because I was in the street. Most of my friends either live in projects and shit like that. So that's where I used to be at all the time. And I just said, fuck it. You know what I mean? I can get some money. I'm going to get some money. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to high school and all that shit. I'm hustling every goddamn day. You know what I'm saying? Mom don't know shit going on. I'm leaving the house 6:30 in the morning, going to motherfucking hustle, then go to school, then leave school, then go hustle from school. You know what I'm saying? But I was smart. I never fucked up in school. I always knew my shit. I hundreds and 95, 98s on every goddamn thing. You know what I'm saying? I just was in the street. You know what I'm saying? Just, and it's crazy because most, I was around a lot of cats that really had to be in there. You know what I mean? That really had to hustle and get they had to go through that. So a lot of people always say, oh, you don't have to go through that. You don't know a motherfucker. You ain't walking in a nigga's shoes. You can't never say that. You know what I'm trying to say? Yeah. A lot of people come from different walks of life. A lot of people go through a lot of shit. And mental illness is real too. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because when you go through so much shit from young and you grow up in that shit, sometimes it's hard to get rid of that. You know what I'm trying to say?
That's
You
what I
know,
was gonna say too. Like, to witness that kind of stuff as a kid, that's got to bear trauma on you your whole life. You know what I mean? Like, and to be able to break through that trauma, you know, a lot of people are gonna go to devices, like whether it be, you know, the streets or whether it be drug addiction or things like that, just to cope with.
So for me, you know, I take that energy and I put it into my music.
Yeah.
I try to put it in something positive. You know what I'm trying to say? Instead of me going out there doing something illegal and all that other shit. I'm too old for that shit anyway. But instead of me even thinking that way, I put all that shit into my music. You know what I'm trying to say? And put it into the world. You know what I mean? That's how I deal. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's not that mentally strong, and I don't judge nobody. But it is mental illness is really serious. You know what I mean? It's a real serious thing, and I'm glad I see a lot of people that's talking about it because it's a real thing that goes on, man. And a lot of people go through things, and sometimes we say, "Oh man, I would never do that. I would never do that." But you never know what a motherfucker's going through, man. You know what I'm trying to say at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I say saying what they're doing is right, but some people don't know what they're doing is ain't correct. You know what I'm saying? Because of the mind state that they're under, things that they've been through. Something it's like almost like somebody in the army, man. You know, they might have a flashback of some shit, seeing all these fucking bodies and seeing all the killers, seeing how they had to live over there, the shit they had to eat and the shit they seen. And, you know what I mean? That shit sticks with you, man. You know what I mean?
PTSD.
So, you know, that shit will fucking take you down. You know what I mean? So I use all of that and I say, you know what? Everything that I've seen, everything that I've been through, let me put it in my music and express it that way. You know what I mean? And leave it as it is. You know
yeah. And how old were you when you moved to Flushing?
I probably was about around 12.
Oh, really? So you met like Large probably right around the time you moved?
Yeah, about 12 years old.
Wow. And then moving forward from that too, like when you guys did Faking the Funk, I mean, you know, because obviously, you know, I'm pretty sure everybody who knows hip hop knows Faking the Funk, but if they don't know what the fuck we're talking about, Faking the Funk, classic Main Source record that you are featured on, and legendary classic record. I love that fucking record, by the way, too. But how old were you when you guys put that record together?
I was around 17, 18.
Shit, eh?
Yeah, definitely.
And are you and Large like the same? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, I think it was definitely 17 or 18. I just forget which one, but it was definitely 17, 18. Me and Large are around the same age. We're like maybe a year or two apart.
It's incredible, man, to think that, like, you know, dudes who come up in that environment, like you're talking about, the PTSD and the stuff that, you know, you had to cope to get through. And to think that you guys were creating music like that at 17 fucking years old with what you had at your, you know, disposal as well, too, right? You know what I mean? It's not like you guys got, you know, rich parents who can buy you all the cool, up-to-date tools and mechanisms and shit. Like, you guys were able to get from the mud what you guys got and be able to create something like that at 17 years old, I think is pretty fucking phenomenal.
Thank you, man. Yeah, it was dope, man. I was a young motherfucker running the streets and shit. I think I remember when we went to MTV Raps and they premiered it, we performed with Dr. Dre and that Lover. I think I had drunk like 2 St. Ives. I think I left 2 40s of St. Ives right outside the motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? I was twisted. If you ever watched that performance, if you go back and look at it, my eyes is closed the whole damn performance. I was smacked. You know what I'm saying? I was smacked. And I was like, oh shit, I ain't even realize like I'm on MTV, I'm live on television and shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm like 17 years old, running the streets and shit. Like I'm just like, whatever, you know what I mean? So, because it was funny when we did Faking the Funk, like that shit was like 5 seconds, man. Like that shit was so easy, man. It was like a freestyle, you know what I'm trying to say? So, and I had no idea the impact that it would have. You know what I'm trying to say? Didn't have no idea of the impact. No idea at all, man. And it's funny, man. I had a lot of family that lived in North Carolina, you know, and down south. So I was in North Carolina one day. We sitting in the living room watching MTV Rap. And I was down south when they world premiered the song. I wasn't even in New York.
Wow.
I was in North Carolina when they world premiered. I was watching this shit on TV. Like, oh shit. Like, oh shit, this shit is kind of crazy right here. And everybody, that's when I knew it was a ill song, because I went to North Carolina. Now, you know, North Carolina, when you go down south, the music, they like different kind of shit. You know, they like certain New York shit. They like, but they like they kind of shit. You know, they into the party, the dancing, and all that kind of shit. But man, when Faking the Funk came out and I went to North Carolina, I was like goddamn president. I had no goddamn idea, man. I'm telling you, man. Yeah, I went to a football game out there, man. And I walked into the stands in the football game, man, and got mobbed. I got mobbed like I was Michael Jackson. I never forget that shit, my nigga. I got mobbed like I was Michael Jackson. Yo, I got mobbed so bad that strangers, dudes was walking up to me asking me, do I need them to do security? You know what I'm saying? That's when I knew. Crazy. That's when I knew Faking the Funk was fucking real deal. And then we left the football game after the football game, and they had an after party at the big club. We pulled up in the parking lot. They playing Faking the Funk in the club. These are moments that I never forget in my life. Like, wow, I'm in North Carolina. So we pull up, they playing Faking the Funk. You hear the bass coming out the fucking club. Like, oh shit. Man, I walked in the fucking club and everybody fucking stopped and froze and was just looking at me. I'm in the fucking country, yo. That's when I knew the shit was big. So look, with the club where I was at down south, right? They ain't have no champagne in the club, and none of that liquor shit and all that. All they had was beers. So I think I might have bought, look. So I think I might have bought everybody in that motherfucker. I might have bought about 36 packs, 46 packs for motherfuckers in there that was showing love. You know what I'm saying? You know, that shit ain't shit, but it's funny because that's how it was down there. But it was like, it wasn't crazy. And then when I came back to New York, I'm walking to the store, and every car that drive by playing this shit. You know what I mean? And I'm like, yo, this shit is crazy. This shit's fucking bananas. Next thing you know, shit is #1 song in the country. I'm like, oh shit. You know what I mean? So that shit was like unexpected. I had no fucking idea. No idea. So I'm grateful Lodge called me to be on that, John.
That's crazy, man.
The birth of me. That was like the birth of me. That was my first song I ever done.
Was that the first shit you ever recorded, like in studio?
That's the first thing I ever did professionally. The first thing I ever recorded, yeah, that's the first song I ever did professionally. The first shit I ever recorded, I never released it. It was an EP, and it was called Master of the Game, and it was produced by Large Professor and Pete Rock. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I did it in Pete Rock's basement in Mount Vernon. You know what I'm trying to say? And what happened was, tell you a story right quick. I battled the Wu-Tang. I don't know if you knew about that.
No.
Yeah, I battled Meth was there, Ghost, Ray, Genius. It was just me going against all of them in the street. In the street in Manhattan. You know what I'm trying to say? So at that time, rest in peace, Mr. Magic. He was on the radio then, Mr. Magic. The next day, Mr. Magic was talking about it on the radio. He was like, yo, this kid, Neek, he said, yo, he was holding his own with the Wu. Because I had rhymes for all of them. It was just me. I had my man from the street with me. You know what I'm saying? And I was going with them. I was going bar for bar with all of them. You know what I'm trying to say? And the funny thing was, it was an A&R that happened to be in the street while I was battling them niggas. His name is Kenyatta Bell. I'll never forget my man Kenyatta Bell. He was an A&R for Mercury Records. After the battle, he gave me a card. He said, yo, call me tomorrow. I called him the next day. He gave me a $10,000 demo deal. Word. Off that shit. Off of seeing me battling the Wu in the street.
Wow.
So that's when I went and recorded the demo at Pete's crib with me and Large. I presented them with the demo, and the lady that was the head of Mercury Records at that time. I'm not mistaken. I think it was Sylvia Rohn or somebody like that.
That sounds right.
She rejected the album, and they signed some corny ass group from North Carolina called Yak Fu Front.
Get the fuck out of here, eh?
Yeah, but you know, I got to keep the 9,000 because I had to pay my lawyer 1,000. We recorded the whole album. We recorded the whole album in house. But I wanted that deal. You know what I'm saying? But just for me to get that quick, you know, it actually Method Man talked about it on Drake Champs.
Oh shit.
Yeah, he talked about it on. He was like, "Kid, you remember when Nick the Exotic when he was battling us in the street? You know, he was fronting though. Yeah, but he talked about it though. You know, he said
I have to go back and watch that actually because
I've
seen that, but
he said I lost, but he was lying like a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Believe me. You know what I'm saying? Believe me. Mr. Magic knew that shit too. I'll tell you, I gotta find somebody that got that clip. Somebody got that clip, believe me. You know what I'm saying? I was tearing their asses up, man. I was on it. They was like, damn, this is one dude. And the funny thing is I seen Meth years later. I think we was in Rochester. I was doing the show up there with the Lost Boys. AZ was up there, Nori, there's a few people. And I ran into Method Man. So I walked up to him. I was like, what's going on, Meth? I said, you probably don't remember me and shit. He was like, Neek the Exotic. He smiled, Neek the Exotic. You know what I mean? So he ain't never forget. You know what I mean?
You left an impression on them.
Yeah. I didn't even have to introduce myself. He said my name for me. You know what I'm saying? So that's when I knew. Yeah. So it's crazy. And the funny thing is when it was on Drake Champs, I didn't even know it. People were hitting me up telling me. Then I watched it. I said, oh shit. He talked about that shit. He said my whole name and everything. It was crazy.
I love stories like that, man. That's honestly my favorite part about doing interviews is uncovering like the little pieces of history like that aren't maybe necessarily, you know what I mean, fully known to masses. There's so many of them, and like it's so interesting, listen, right? Man.
You talking about dope, man? Like that was a hell of an experience right there, because this was when the Wu first started. So they got like 100 motherfuckers with them. You know, they got the Wu t-shirts and shit. You know what I mean? We in the street, and I believe it was definitely after an event that we went to. I'm not sure if it was MC Lights got a record release party. It was something like that, man. But it definitely was in Manhattan. It was definitely in the street. We had the street filled up. You know what I'm saying?
Would they have had Protect Your Neck out at that time, or would that have been like before they put that out?
Before they put that out, I believe.
Wow.
Yeah.
So oh man.
Yeah, it was dope, man. So you know, I had a lot of experiences like that because I used to love battling and shit like that. You know, I came up like that. You know what I'm saying? So that was my shit. You know what I'm saying? I used to battle my mans down here in the park in front of the house. You know what I'm saying? We used to battle. I used to eat these motherfuckers up in my neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? They my homies and shit. I used to tear their ass up. You know what I'm trying to say? And that was my thing. You know what I'm trying to say? I think the only
faking funk, you know, you got that aggressive battle MC. You know, like presence.
The only person I think I never battled, me and Lodge never battled. He used to laugh his ass off when I be eating these niggas up in the hood, though. He used to be like, this shit is funny as a motherfucker. You know what I mean? I'm telling you, it used to be funny, man. But that kept me sharp. It kept me, you know, always into that shit, man. Like, you know, I've had jobs and all that shit, you know, coming up as a youngster. I had jobs and all that shit. And it seemed like, you know, the music always was calling me, man. You know, I've had jobs where I was on it for 1 year. I had jobs where I was on it for 2 years. I had jobs I was on it for 4 years. You know, I worked and all that shit. But the music always called me back. You know what I'm saying? And I always found a way to just say, you know what? I gotta go with what I know. I'm trying to say I know I can do. And I know I can, it's different elements in the game that I can get into too also. But this is my thing, man. So I always stuck with it, man. And this project, you know, this Extra Exotic album, it's a testament to hard work, and focus, man, determination, man. And I want people to know, man, I'm one of the best MCs, man. I ain't no rapper. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm the MC, man. I've been doing this shit for a long time, and I can spit with the best of them, and with no problem, no issue at all. And, you know, so, and I ain't lose a beat. Shit, you know what I'm saying? And that's what I want people to understand. So, me putting this album together it was personal, you know?
Yeah. And like, to be honest, you're kind of like one of Queens' best kept secrets, you know what I mean? Because I mean, you've been around, you know, since the main source explosion.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you've been there and you've been holding your own, but it's almost like you never really got the props and recognition you deserve. But I guess that's also because, you know, I assume after the Mercury deal, is that when you ended up getting incarcerated not long after that?
We got incarcerated in '92,
Okay.
right after we did Faking the Funk. That's crazy. That's why nobody never seen me after that. That's why I
Yeah.
didn't do no shows. And I was shocked because I'm surprised they were still #1 in the country and I wasn't nowhere around. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I know how impactful the song was. You know what I'm saying? I was a quiet guy, man. You know what I mean? I don't talk about prison and all that shit, but it was something I went through in my life, and I thank God that I was able to come out a better and stronger man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No matter what the situation was, I did almost 5 years. You know what I'm trying to say? So, you know, that was a long time for me, the first time ever being locked up. You know what I'm saying? I'm in the mountains. And the funny thing is, I got the #1 song out in the country, and I'm in the mountains. You know what I'm saying? I'm
That's
watching
great.
I'm watching my videos in the fucking day room. You know what I'm saying? And nobody knew I rap, right? Like, it was funny when I got up north, you had inmates that knew. I used to hear the whispers every time I used to walk. You hear niggas whispering. You hear that shit, you know what I'm saying? One day I was in the day room and the video came on. And I think about 20 Spanish niggas, especially the old time. As soon as you see my face, them niggas all look back like, they was like, Poppy, what happened? You know? Yeah, that's it. That's the only funny thing I remember about being locked up, man. Straight up was that. And that made me like, man, boy, I can't wait to come home and get on my shit. Cause I was writing every day. I was listening. My ear was to the streets. My mom used to send me all the cassettes. So I had, you know, all the Mobb Deep cassettes, Nas. So I had everybody's shit. So I was up to date on. You know, I had, you know, Capone and Noriega and all that shit. So I was listening to everything. I had all the dopest cassettes that was out. I had it. So I always stayed motivated. You know, that kept me. That was one of the things that kept me going. And when I got out, I got up with the law schools. I actually was opening up for them because they was real hot at that time. You know, they had out all their hits at that time. They were rocking. They was always on the road rocking. So I started hitting the road with them and getting my feet wet. You know what I'm saying? Getting my stage presence right. You know, all that shit helped me a lot. You know what I mean? So, you know, when I started out independent records and clubs and shit like that, I started doing shows, I was ready. You know what I mean? I'm ready every since. See, I always say I'm the most underrated MC in the game. I'm the most underrated.
Well, definitely, man. And I think, you know, and because like if you look at like the tutelage too, right? Like, you know, Akinelli, Nas, like them both being on the main source debut, and that directly or indirectly both ended up getting them deals. So I mean, like you probably could have had, you know, damn near any deal you wanted if you didn't get incarcerated. It was like almost like, you know, like at the most pivotal time of your career, you know, you got that setback, but at the same time, it enabled you to have your independence. Following, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because taught me a lot. I used to buy a lot. I used to go to the B Dalton's the bookstore, and I used to buy, you know, books about the music business. You know, whether it's about marketing or promoting, and you know, mechanical royalties and all kind of shit like that. I was reading about all that shit. I was buying books, man, learning about, you know, how to start your own company and your label and corporation and pros and the cons and all kind of shit. So I used to go to the Science and Business Library in Manhattan on Madison Avenue, you know, to do my trademark looking and all that. They have you know, they actually got lawyers in there that work. It's like a business library. So you go there and do the trademarking and all kind of shit. You know what I'm saying? Get all kind of whatever has to do with business. You go there. So I used to go there and everything, man. So I used to get all that knowledge, do a lot of reading. You know what I'm saying? Go there, see certain things in books and make copies of it. So I can write home and read it. So, you know, independent is a good thing, man. You know, it's just it's much harder when you're the one man gang. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't do everything. So, you know, you try to do the best you can and hope things line up the way you want them to line up. You know what I'm trying to say? So that's what I do, man. You know what I'm saying? And the main thing is to stay consistent, man, so that people don't forget about you. You know what I mean? They want to see you, want to hear from you. So when we enlarged did that Still on the Hustle album, that was 11 years ago. So when we came up with this joint, Extra Exotic, I was like, yeah, we got to call it Extra Exotic because, you know, they call you Extra P, Professor, whatever, blah, blah, blah. It fits us. I mean, it's something different. You know what I mean? This is our first project that we've done a while, even though it's my album, it's our album. You produced 8 songs, so you rhymed on every one. You know what I'm trying to say? So it was a beautiful situation to come up with that. And working, man. This is probably some of the best responses I've ever got on a project. This right here. So many people grasping towards it, from lovers of the music to artists, you know, hit me up like Diamond D, you know, telling me the album was solid. He was riding around listening to it, telling me one of his favorite joints and shit like that. And, you know, Just Blaze, you know, kicking one of the verses off the new album and shit. So I'm like, wow, you know what I mean? That's how you know people that actually listen to your shit. You know what I'm saying? Because it's new. For him to recite a verse that he liked or a bar he liked and send it to me, that meant he was listening. You know what I'm saying? So all of that means a lot to me. Alchemist promoting it. You know what I'm saying? Bumpy Knuckles promoting it. Pharaoh promoting it. You know, Boogie Blind. You know, Roy Watts. You know what I mean? Shout out to Roy Watts, man. He came through with crazy flow on the hook on the joint, Better Believe, man, which was hard and crazy and gritty. You know what I mean? So everybody played a beautiful part, man, and put it in, and it came together beautiful. You know, even from the mixing from my man EQ to Eddie Sanchez to Jake Palumbo, shout out to him. He mastered the album. Everything was done correctly. Everybody put their heart into it and hear it in the music.
And it's a phenomenal album, man. Like, you know, I love it. I love the title of it, The Extra Exotic. Like, you know, as soon as I see that, I'm like, dope. I like
you know why? Because we different. We the same, but we different. You know, I'm you know, I'm a little flashy sometimes. Large is the simplified dude. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? He'll get on the scooter, get on the electric scooter, and he'll be out. You know what I'm saying? So it was so that's why we had to do it like that. You know what I'm trying to say? And that's us. That's who we are. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, man. You know, and the album's phenomenal. And honestly, man, you know, like we've only scratched the surface of your history. I could talk to you forever. I don't want to eat up your night, but I would love to have you back on the show again if you're open.
Definitely. Let's do it, man. Let's do it, man. Let's work, man. Listen, man, you know what I love about what you're doing, man, on your platform, man, is you kick it real, man. So, you know, it don't get no better than that. You know what I'm saying? We talking about so many elements of my life, not just music. So I appreciate that, man. You know what I'm saying? That's real, man. This is what I want to do an interview about, because it's not just about the music, it's about the person behind it. You know what I'm trying to say? So
I think all that stuff's important, right? Because all of that makes you the person you are, which is what creates the music you create, right? And I think, you know, and just as a hip hop head myself, man, you know, because I'm younger, right? I'm 31. I grew up, you know, I'm out here in Canada. You know, I grew up in a small town. I live in Toronto now, but just saying that, say, like, you know, my access to hip hop my whole life wasn't always right there in front of my face. You know what I mean? I had to do a lot of digging and researching to learn the back history and, you know, really, really brush up on the culture and the knowledge of it. And, you know, I appreciate conversations with cats like you, man, and everyone I've had the honor to interview, because, you know, I think I've done a good job at researching and learning the culture and the history, but there's so much I've learned through, you know, the people like yourself who lived it, and the little jewels you drop, and, you know, the little stories like the Wu-Tang story, and just even getting to learn about like your childhood and stuff. And I just appreciate, you know, the time that I have to be able to sit and talk with you guys about this stuff, because, you know, it helps build the picture and just helps me to understand it so much more. And I think that's what I want to convey in these interviews, is I want the people who watch them to understand the culture, and what brings artists like yourself to the point to where you're creating the albums that you're still creating to this day. You know what I mean? And I think it's a beautiful thing, you know. And
man, I appreciate you, man. You don't even know, man. It's like, it's real, man. It's real, man. That's all I can do is be real, man. And on platforms like this, man, where you can express yourself and you know, let people know who you are as a person and as an individual, as well as your music. You know, that combination, I think it's a great thing. You know what I mean? Because it's like you know, they kind of know, it's like they know something. It's like they know you. You know what I mean?
yeah,
They might have been through some of the things you've been through that they didn't know you've been through. You know what I'm trying to say. So it gives me a chance to express myself, be real with the people, and let people know, you know, what Neek the Exotic is about, man. You know what I mean? So let me show you something right quick. I got a surprise right quick.
all right. Woo, shit, you got the vinyls.
So it's you know, it's crazy, man. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Yo, do you got those out for sale now?
Yeah, you got to pre-order them from Redline Music Distribution. You know what I mean? But I got we getting ready to autograph them. All of the copies are going to be autographed. You know, for me and Large Pro. So, you know what I mean?
When we hop off the call, can you shoot me the link for that?
Yeah, definitely, man.
I'll grab one of those for
I
sure,
appreciate
man.
it, man.
I love vinyl. I love having vinyl.
Yeah, have the vinyl, man. You know, the thing about vinyl is it takes so long. You know what I'm trying to say? That's the only thing. It ain't like a CD or a cassette. You know what I mean? Motherfucker, CD take 8 days and shit. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? You fucking done. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, we got the vinyl, the cassette, the sticker, and the CD. You know what I mean? So just, you know, for everybody, something for everybody.
Oh, man, dope. That's dope. And let the people know, actually, since we're still on as well too. And I can cut out the pieces and stuff, you know, make it cohesive. But let the people know where they can order the vinyl, the CD, the
definitely,
cassette.
Man. You can definitely order the vinyl, man, of the Extra Exotic album, man. Straight like that, man. You can order that joint, man, at Redline Music Distribution, man. You know, we have the bundle packs, you know, where you can actually order the vinyl, the CD, the cassette, and the sticker, or you can just buy everything individually, whatever your taste is. But everything is up for sale right now at Redline Music Distribution. I definitely appreciate all the support and all the love, you know what I mean? And I'm happy that, you know, about the response that we're getting from the project. Shout out to everybody involved on the album: Q-Tip, Pharoah Monch, Large Pro, Alchemist, Raw Watts, Innocent, DJ Boogie Blind, DJ Precision, Jake Palumbo, EQ, Eddie Sanchez, Alchemist. Everybody that put their heart and soul into this, I appreciate it. And I appreciate all the feedback that we get all over the world about the project, man. I want to thank everybody. It's a dope album. I'm not just saying, you know, a lot of people say that shit, you know what I mean? But it's a really dope album. You know what I mean? It's one of the best albums out right now. And that's just a fact, from 1 to 10. So, you know, definitely check it out.
Yo, and I second everything you just said, man. The album is incredible. People definitely make sure you go check that out and go and support. Like, it's available on distribution platforms. You can go listen to it anywhere, but, you know, go and support. Grab the vinyl, at least grab the CD, you know, grab something. But, you know, I'll be copping one of the vinyls for sure.
Definitely appreciate that, man. Word. You know, I'm just so happy. It's a dope project, and I can't wait till we start performing it. You know what I'm trying to say? And hitting stages and really rocking that, because that's what I really love to do the most, is hit that stage and perform. That's my element right there. I love that more than anything. You know what I'm saying? Just read with people and seeing people dance and that and reactions. Oh shit! I mean, that's my shit. I mean, so I'm happy with the project, man, and we just gonna keep rocking it. Trying to figure out which video we're gonna have for the first video. You know what I'm trying to say? And other than that, just rocking, man. Just staying busy and working it every which way I can work.
Yeah, man. Yo, I hope you guys do a video for the Q-Tip joint. I gotta say, that's probably my favorite joint on there.
Yeah, man, listen, I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad at you. Listen, man, if I can get, listen, the funny thing is, I just hit Q-Tip up earlier today.
Really?
Yeah, I just hit him up earlier today about that. So I'm waiting to hear back from him because that'd be real dope. If we can do the Borough of Queens video with me, Large, and Q-Tip, that'd be great.
That'd be legendary.
That'd be legendary. So that's something that I'm trying to work on, man. And as long as he ain't got the hectic schedule and he has the time, I'm pretty sure we can get it done. So, right now we're gonna continue to work it, promote it, make sure everybody's getting it and knowing about it, and just eating that up, man. And then we're gonna put these videos out, man. You know what I mean? And rock. Man.
Oh man, dope, man. Well, Neek, thank you very much for your time, man. I appreciate it so much. I look forward to having you back on the show, man. Like I said,
man.
so much.
So you just let me know whenever you want to do it, and we on, brother.